beauties, how are you? I am super excited when you join. I always feel like I need little, what's it called, music. When you join, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Even if you're watching the replay, always say hello. I like to know where you're tuning in from, where you're watching, who you are. I love connecting because this is a platform for connectivity, and I truly, truly love knowing each and every single one of you. So if you have not seen me before, been with me before, my name is Colleen Gallagher, and I am super, super passionate about guiding people to understand why they're here on this planet, why did God put you here at this time, at this point, and helping you use social media technology as a platform for connectivity for yourself to uplift your environment and understand that you can absolutely change your life wherever you are. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm going to share, but in October of 2020, that's just now, I am doing 31 days of live in October. This is day 2. And the reason that I'm doing that is to share 31 stories of how my heart has broken and I turned that heartbreak into absolutely falling in love. And so, couple things before I get into today's topic. One, when you watch this and you see it, if you share it with your friend or share it on your feed, you are entered into a drawing at the end of the month, October 31st, where I will draw 3 people. The first person, they get my signed copy of my brand new book, An Uncompromised Life. That is why we're doing these 31 days live. And you get my Oracle deck, my first book, and you get 2 calls with me. The second one we pick, you'll get my 3rd book, An Uncompromised Life. You will get my first book, Live Your Truth, and 1 call with me. And the last person, you get An Uncompromised Life, and you get 1 call with me and my Oracle deck. And so I'd love for you to share it. I'd love for you to be here present with me and getting this message out there. So why am I doing these lives? What is happening? So my 3rd book has just launched. We're super excited. We're in pre-order. It's called An Uncompromised Life. And for those of you who don't know anything about it, it's about a story where I compromised my character in love, and I compromised my desires, I compromised my needs, and I could be labeled as a spiritual codependent. He would be labeled as a narcissist. And from that, unfortunately, because I compromised myself so much, I was gifted to be initiated into motherhood. And from that initiation of motherhood, I chose to let the child go. And I didn't know that I could become pregnant because I had cancer at age 14. And so I was told by Western medicine that it would be very challenging for me to have this happen in my life. But it happened, and I let the child go, but I know that the child is going to be coming into my life where I get to adopt her, and the name that came to me through 3 different means was the name Ella. So the book is absolutely phenomenal. It's a miraculous story of my life, and I'm still in the middle of the movie of my life story. And so I love Joe. And so today is day 2 of the 31 lives that we are going to be sharing 31 ways my heart has broke, because I want to let you know that even though people see Colleen, I'm always happy, I'm always grateful. My life has been very challenging, and this incident that just happened in my life with motherhood just happened in November of 2019, so it has not even been a year. I still showed up to my business, I still showed up for my clients, and I am now here with you. So this day number 2, what I want to talk about is that how I broke my heart with thinking that I could throw money at things and that it would solve my problems. And so I have many, many examples of this, but the one that I really want to share with you today is since I was out of college, I worked for a $23 billion company, and I covered multi-million-dollar territories. So I always had an abundance of money. I never really had to worry about it. I always created my life that way. But the duality to that is that since I had money at a really young age, 21, 22, 23, I also thought that I could just throw money at things and that it would solve my problems. So an example of this is I was working for this $23 billion company, and I realized I was not happy. I realized that I was showing up to a job and showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up, like what they talk about, just keep showing up. I was doing that, but I was in excruciating pain. I was not happy with my life. I was highly depressed. I had extreme fatigue. I had horrible anxiety. I remember I would be going to work and being I remember I literally would go into work like this, and I remember that there was my largest sales deal I was doing at the time. It was $800,000 that I was closing. And I'm in this group of executives and also executives of my company that were overlooking like line by line item the manufacturing products that we were doing. And I literally showed up to this meeting, and I remember I was in my car. I will never forget it. I was in my car and I was going like, okay, you've got this, you can show up and it's gonna happen and you're gonna get money and it's gonna be fine, like it's gonna be great and this is what's gonna make you successful. Like this was me at 22 years old. It was, and I'm 26 now. This was like absolutely ridiculous for a 22-year-old to be acting like this. And so I showed up to the meeting, I closed the deal. It was my largest deal at the time. I called my partner after, and I was in an abusive relationship, and he just like wasn't, nothing, like no impressed, nothing, good job, like just zero, nada, nothing. And I remember I came home and I just fell on my blue couch. I will never forget it. Crying like I've never cried before. Like just tears streaming down my face. And I'm like, what the fuck, God? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose of this? Why did I get cancer? Why did I make it and some of my friends died? Why is this happening? Like, what the hell? I'm 22. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And so I remember there's this download or whatever you can call it. I didn't know that wording then, but this thing came to me, and it was like Google visas. And so I Googled visas. I'd already been to like 20 something countries at the time, and I saw that there was a visa for New Zealand. And so I applied. It was $20. I got my visa, and I was gonna move across the world to New Zealand. And so again, I saved my money for 3 months. I bought my flight. I circled the thing on the calendar. Again, when I did this, like I was like, holy shit, I'm leaving like this incredible job with healthcare. I have a company car, like, and I'm going to move to New Zealand. Like, what are you doing? It made no sense, no logical sense. But I had anxiety. Like I was like, oh my God. But I remember I circled the date on the calendar, and off I went on my plane to New Zealand. But see, here's the message I want to share to you, is that I thought that if I just gave money to the plane, I thought that I was giving money to New Zealand. I thought that if I just did the action to get on the plane to move to New Zealand, that my life would magically shift, that I would stop feeling the pain, that I would stop understanding what was actually going on inside of me, that if I just showed up to these things, that something magically would happen. And I moved to New Zealand. I went back into corporate with another company, and the same pattern started to reoccur, where I was having anxiety, I wasn't happy, I was suffering. I go, what the fuck? And that is when I started to realize that I was breaking my own heart. There was no one else breaking my heart but me. And I realized in that moment that I had to make a decision to truly fall in love with myself. And I don't even think I had that language then, but I had to fall in love with life. I had to do something, because this pain that was happening because I was showing up to things was so excruciating. I couldn't keep doing it. Like it just was not going to be good for me. And so I started then to do my yoga and meditation 4 hours a day, and that's when I started to realize you could do this. You could become an entrepreneur. You could start to use online tools and technology to connect yourself with people, to learn people's stories, to share your story, to like really ignite this whole new world. And that was 2.5 years ago. And what I've learned on that journey, and I want to share this with you, is as I started my entrepreneur journey, again, I threw money at mentors, thinking if I gave money to mentors that I would magically be successful. That if I gave money to buying clothes, that if I gave money to going on a flight, that if I gave money to all these countries just to go travel, that something would magically be better. It didn't work. The only thing that truly saved my own heart, and the only thing that truly allowed me to stop throwing money at something, thinking that it would bring me love, thinking that it would bring me fulfillment, was the moment that I was initiated into motherhood in a way that I didn't imagine, a way that I didn't dream. Because something in my mind, almost, it was taken from me in a way that I didn't imagine or dream, and usually all my dreams come true. And I had to learn how to accept myself for that. And there was something that I couldn't pay money for to re-get that story. I couldn't pay money to undo that story. I couldn't give money for something. I literally had to look within and realize, now I say it's very close, that falling in love with life, falling in love is an inside job. I really wanted to know that, I feel like with traveling the world and doing all these things that I've done in my business and my life, is that I could fall in love and that you could overcome heartbreak. But in each moment that I did something or threw money at something just to not deal with it or avoid it, it's kind of like this. I've never done this, but let's say if you wanted to lose weight, right? And instead you just gave money to get like a surgery to get fat out. You can do that, right? But it didn't you're still avoiding the problem of why the fat existed in the first place. Why weren't you taking care of yourself? What emotions were building up? what are you suppressing? What are you avoiding? And by throwing the money, sure, you can get a Band-Aid on the problem, but it's not going deep within. And until you look at that question within yourself and go deep within of what do you want from life, what does an uncompromised life look like for you, where you have zero compromise in your character, zero compromise in your desires, zero compromise in your needs, you will always find yourself going after heartbreak, 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 and you will never truly meet the air of what it feels like to fall in love, because you will always be compromising your soul. And when we compromise our soul, you create events in your life, like catastrophic events or awakenings or initiations, you can call them any type of way with your perspective of your life. And it's all part of your story, but there's things that you can become aware of to help your journey of pain and suffering not be so excruciating. And so I hope with these 31 days of live, when I share a different live every day of a story that broke my heart, that you see a little bit of yourself in me, and that I share with you that it is possible. Also, with this, if you share it, like I said, for the whole month of October, you go into a little drawing that we're going to do at the end of the month, where you will win, as I said in the beginning of the live, different things that I've offered for the first 3 people we pick. And when you are watching this and you feel like, holy shit, Colleen, I feel you. I feel like I'm living a compromised life. I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. I have no idea how to make sense of what's going on in the world. I feel like I just want to find love so badly, or my relationship's horrific. Like, oh, I just need something. Then I highly recommend pre-ordering my 3rd book, An Uncompromised Life. You will get a signed copy of the book from me. You will get a crystal from our Crystella crystal line, and I say ours because it's my daughter's and mine. And you will also then get you will also get a handwritten letter note from us. We have like specific cards we've got. They're absolutely beautiful. That's channeled and intuitive from whatever loss or heartbreak you're going through. I'm very good with words. I love writing, and I'm very intuitive, so I know exactly what guides and messages are coming through me for you to receive for your initiation into falling in love. So message me, we can get you that, or book, just say book, and we'll get you that, or comment on here. Second one is if you feel this and you're like, Colleen, I'm not ready for the book, but I feel like I just desire connection, I desire community, I desire to understand why I'm in so much pain, I desire why my life is not the way it is, I desire how I can know how to travel the world, I desire to be Colleen what you've created in your life, then comment below community or message me and I'll get you into the free community. The last part is that if you are on this and you're like, Colleen, holy shit, I listened to you and I feel like you're my person, you're the person that's meant to guide me on this initiation, on this journey of overcoming pain, suffering, heartbreak, and falling in love, I have a special deal that I'm running for just October, where you get 4 calls with me for the rest of the year at a very, very special price. I will never probably do this again, and it's definitely not at the price that it's at right now. So message me just falling in love, and I'll get you those details as well. I'm super honored. I'm so grateful for you to be here. And I want to make sure I'm super close. I want you to know that your heartbreak is almost over if you're watching this. Your pain is done, and that you are absolutely ready to receive love and fall in love, because you wouldn't be here. God would not put you here if it wasn't your time. So I love you, and I'm excited for this to be our journey together.